Three, two, one. Hi, hello, and welcome to Get Another Expat. This is episode number 22. I'm not sure why I'm counting them, but it feels nice. And here I am, live from Berlin, the town that seems to not be able to choose the weather. Nah, it's been okay. It's been okay. It's just that I cannot have the psychological safety I want out of this city. Even if the day starts sunny, it might just start raining, and then after some time the sun is out, and then the sun is not out. You get some thunders because why not? And then at the end of the day, maybe some sun again. The weather here is more unpredictable than my pre-teenage self. I remember every day what I would wear would be a surprise. How I would style my hair, because we all use that gel. That is probably the reason why my hair is falling now. And we would style it different ways. You know, you could do the fence. So all your front hair is like shining, glowing up. There was the around fence where you make the outside perimeter of your head be upwards, because why not? You could have some tufts of hair going down and others going up. I'm telling you, it was crazy times. It all started when I was, I think, 11 years old, and I had some sort of a romance at school. And my, I guess, girlfriend at the time one day asked me, "Hey, why did you choose these clothes?" And I don't remember even what I was wearing. And I just told her, "I didn't choose the clothes." And she said, "Okay, then how does it work?" And I said, "Well, my mom dresses me up. I I'm too sleepy to see what is happening. This is how it would be." I swear I didn't care about anything I was wearing. I would just wake up and my mom would put on some clothes to me and then I would go to school. But at that young age, 10 or 11, it doesn't sound so young, but I think that was the time my girlfriend said, "No, you need to be picking your own clothes. You need to have a style." And so it began. So my ever changing childhood styles is somehow an analogy to this Berlin weather. But life is good. I've been going on longer bike rides. This is my new thing now. Minimum 10 kilometers and just roaming around, discovering a little bit the city and also keeping active. Quite some fun. I spend a lot of time in Tempelhof, the old airport that's been shut down and given back to the people, to the people. And yeah, it's lovely, and I always find something new there. Berlin is treating me well. I saw Trevor Noah live in the previous week. I had tickets for almost a year. I almost forgot that I had tickets. Then I realized I have three tickets because sometimes I do that. Instead of two, I just get one more and keep it there for a friend or someone who might want to join last minute. It worked out all right. Very much enjoyed seeing Trevor Noah live. That has never happened before. I've been a fan since the very old specials all the way to his time at the Daily Show. And he has started a very interesting podcast as well. His stand up show was quite funny, very Berlin tailored. Yes, European tailored. I was wondering if this is the final show he will take around the world and at the end record it. It felt like not, but at the same time, it's a technique of the stand-up comedians that they usually, when they visit a new country, they will add the first 15 minutes. They will try to bring jokes around the place that they are to build a bit that relational muscle and make people be like, "Oh, he's talking about us. Yes, I went to Greece and I saw stray cats everywhere. Ha ha ha. I went to Berlin and people are rude. Ha ha ha." And yeah, but Trevor Noah actually had a big part of the show, touching events around Europe and its history. He goes into colonialism, of course, because he's from South Africa, apartheid and all that. All in all, very educational. It had a few cliches about the Germans and the French, but I have to appreciate the comedic delivery of Trevor Noah. I think that no matter what the joke is, the way that he builds it, the way that he creates the pauses, the way that he delivers the punchline, he does a lot of physical comedy as well with his body, with his expressions, and it's like a high quality performance. I also think that the time at the Daily Show has given him a lot of understanding of how camera works. So the way he positions himself. You know, when you're doing something on stage, so many times you think it looks good, but it doesn't look good if you look at it afterwards. Maybe you do it too fast. Maybe you don't show the right angle. Maybe you don't spend enough time in a specific part of your movement to get it across. And yeah, long story short, it was very interesting to see very well talented comedian perform. What else is happening this week? Of course, we have the Olympics, all sorts of stories happening with the Olympics. The people did swim in the shit, by the way. You probably know by now the Seine, the river. People did the triathlon. They kept postponing the trainings even until the last day. So these people swam in the river without ever having trained in the river before. It pained my heart to hear the people who finished the race saying things like, I don't want to remember what happened there. I saw things I shouldn't have seen. I touched things I shouldn't have touched. And I'm like, what did you touch? My bed has been on dead rats and things like this, but you can never know. Everyone tried not to drink water, but come on, if you're swimming 3 kilometers in a natural river, good luck with not drinking any of that. The French are saying everything is good, just keep on going. Some teams dropped out from some of the sports, and others are raising serious concerns about the health of their athletes. But life goes on. I think that probably if you get a medal that included you swimming in the shit river, like it has even more glory. Like for me, yes, and what happens if you get poisoned? Okay, you may have some explosive diarrhea for some time, throw up a little bit, but I mean, isn't that what top performance is at the end of the day? All these people are competing in the most difficult conditions amongst the top. So somehow I just blend the shitty river in this whole atmosphere. Like, as long as everyone is swimming in the shitty river and they also get to drink the shitty water, I would still compete. And I'm like, okay, when you play a video game, not all levels are enjoyable. Some levels are very, very disgusting, and you need to keep pushing through. Yes, I'm all in swimming in the shitty river. I hope that people don't give up so easily. Just don't swallow way too much water and hope for the best. We also had the Turkish guy who didn't need any special equipment. I think he immediately became a meme overnight. You've probably seen him, gray hair, just having some glasses on, looking like an accountant, like an angry accountant. Though he does have something from a hitman. And yes, he got the second medal for shooting, and his style was basically having no style, no need for any of the special equipment. He immediately became a meme, but I almost feel that because everyone is watching the Olympics now, and memes get created, they start circulating so fast. I really feel that after 3 days of this breaking the news, I was almost done with it. I was like, please, can you please stop showing me this dude that is shooting without having the special equipment? I'm okay. I'm done. I've thought all the memes it could do in work, in life, in the Olympics. And that was an interesting thing to notice how quickly it went from viral, everyone is talking about it, into everyone is now tired of talking about it in just 3 days. Maybe this is what happens when the entire world is consuming the same content. More things on the Olympics, because why not? It's happening now. The French have built this village, this Olympic village. A lot of complaints around that village. I don't understand why. It doesn't have any ventilation. It doesn't have an AC system. It just has some fans. And let me tell you, I come from a very warm country. If it's warm, a fan is not going to save you. It's just circulating warm air. It feels like it's mocking you. You're there dripping, and it feels like it's just adding a bit to the teas. A lot of people are leaving the Olympic Village. It also didn't have enough protein, like somehow it didn't have enough chicken for people. I don't understand how this can be a problem. How you bring the top athletes of the world and you cannot even give them some chicken. Um, a place to sleep. The cardboard beds are not working. Everyone is suffering from heat. It's also super loud because apparently athletes are staying more than five at a room. I saw some countries that 10 athletes are sharing 2 rooms and 2 bathrooms, which sounds horrible. This type of things would happen if you are still in high school and you are on a field trip that you try to keep low cost and you don't care that people their feet smell and they snore because who gives a damn. And here you have the top of the top sport of all time where people need to be at their best, best sleep, best food. They train for years in achieving the perfect conditions and they try to time their training to be a top pick at the Olympics. I've seen athletes that say, in a European championship that, yeah, I'm in a good shape, but I achieved, I don't know, first win, but my goal is to, like, I'm doing my utmost pushing for the Olympics in the summer. A lot of them were saying that they're trying to time everything to that. And then you go to a place sleeping with five more people, having no food, having no ventilation, having not a good sleep. I think I would be very, very angry. This Italian athlete who won the gold medal in swimming, he was caught sleeping on a bench outside in a park on the grass, the same way that I go on a sunny day for a picnic. But he said it's way too loud in there and way too hot. I'm praying for a breeze to come and they leave the doors open in case the breeze comes. So in the end, he just went to the park for a good sleep. He still has some swims to do. So imagine living in those situations and having to swim in the shit river. I mean, this is a hard combo. And a lot of teams have chosen to sleep outside of the village. I wouldn't blame them. The Greek basketball team that is now in the fourth semifinals, I don't know what the name of that is, also decided they're going to a hotel. And guess what? The French team is also sleeping at a hotel. And I think that this puts the amount of silliness exactly where it should be. How is it possible that even your own country's team chooses to ditch your Olympic village and just go to a hotel? But anyway, on a last one, I think that I want to mention the match with Djokovic, Nole, as they call him, the probably the best tennis player in the world at the moment. I haven't checked the top, but he's probably number one. He played, I don't know much about tennis, but he played versus Alcaraz. So Alcaraz is 25, 26, super young, super strong, doesn't give up. Very, very nice spirit and fighting. And Djokovic, he's now 37 years old. He has won every big event in the world besides the Olympics. So now he's doing something that they call the gold smash, a gold, I don't know, a gold something. It basically means there's nothing left for him to win. And at 37, he's pretty picky. Also, he tries to be in top health shape all the time. He actually left a previous tennis tournament because he had some problems with his knee and decided to not risk it. And it's overall interesting to see how you get to this stage where you need to calculate your powers. And this is something I enjoyed. I watched that match, by the way, and I very much enjoyed how Djokovic could, in a very collected manner, choose where he puts strength. You could see exchanging some balls and then putting everything he has into this one shot at the right time, at the right corner, and scoring a point. In comparison to his opponent, who was extremely talented, extremely energetic, and you could see how the power of the youth, the strength of the youth, he could fight every point so much. So yeah, it was also interesting that in tennis, the crowd is so close. You can hear every single person in the crowd, and they ask everyone to be completely silent as someone does a service. And I found that an interesting connection with the audience because if you think at football, if you think at running, if you think at swimming, I saw beach volley and they are putting techno music after every point is scored. Everyone is shouting and screaming. It looks like a party. Like it looks very much like a beach party. And it's the same kind of thing. You have top players trying to score points in a very technical sport. And I'm pretty sure they also need all the concentration they can get. But no, because it's beach volley, they turn it into a graduation ceremony. But in tennis, no one would speak a word. There was a woman that had a baby that started crying and it disrupted the entire tennis court and she walked out with the baby so the silence would continue. And I don't know what to say. There was something, because I hadn't watched tennis often, realizing that when the service happens, for example, when a player serves the ball, everyone is holding their fucking breath. Everyone. No one says a word. You don't hear a pin drop in the field. I like that because A, it proves that, I don't know, a little bit of faith restored in humanity. I could guess that people could just be shouting something at the wrong time and trying to confuse players, or I don't know. I always assume bad, ill intent. And the second one is that it's also a bit intimate for the audience. You're all in. You're so close that you feel what's happening, and you are part of the. In a way, you're part of the match. And I enjoy that. Djokovic won. It was a very good match, and he now has the golden hamburger. I don't know. He has the golden gold. All the gold things. He has them. He's done. He did a Serbian dance with his teammates, hugged his daughters. I think he's a complete man now. Probably will slowly make some room for other people in this sport to also achieve some wins. And yes, let's see. Let's see what the future awaits. There are also rumors that the Mission Impossible boy, what's his name? Tom Cruise. Yes, he is going to perform at the ending ceremony, which I hope doesn't happen again throughout the city, but I haven't checked how that will work. But that's it. Let's wrap it up with the Olympics and go to one more topic that I have, a scientific discovery that I think is pretty fascinating. You will probably hear about it in the future, but like everything, you will say, "Oh, I remember that from a podcast." And this will be the podcast. Okay, so this has to do, the easiest way to say it is we have found some rocks at the bottom of the sea that are producing oxygen, which is a super weird thing that has never been observed in nature before. Oxygen production in our planet in general, everywhere, happens through photosynthesis, through the plants that get the sunlight, and then they do their green stuff, they get what they need, they get some sugars, they produce oxygen. We get oxygen from the plants. Apparently we are just discovering that perhaps this is not the only way that our planet can create some oxygen. Now, how did this started? Let's go there. They were doing some seafloor exploration and measuring different levels. So imagine deep sea, we're talking about kilometers and kilometers down. There is not really a lot of oxygen there. Just so that we talk oxygen in the water, you get oxygen from the phytoplankton, all the greeny things of the water. They also do some photosynthesis. They produce that, and the top level of the water in the seas gets a lot of oxygen. Now, the more down you go, the less oxygen you have, because nothing can photosynthesize. Like the light doesn't go that far down to create photosynthesis. So the oxygen availability is less and less as we go down to the deep sea. Now, there is some oxygen that comes there from the top, very little. And the way it comes basically is, in an overly simplistic way, it's heavy. Oxygen gets trapped in water and then it sinks down. And then this is how a tiny bit of oxygen can be at the bottom of the sea. And these very weird animals that you see, the deep sea animals, they all look like aliens. This is how they get their tiny bit of oxygen. There is actually this surface oxygen that sinks slowly down, is also carried through currents around the world. And this is how the floor of the ocean has a tiny bit of oxygen. Now, so they were doing some testing. They were actually doing this testing for deep sea mining, which we will touch in a little bit. And this testing, they would bring some things at the bottom of the sea, 4 kilometers down or something, and they would insert a tube in the ground and cut a piece and measure the levels of oxygen there. And they wanted to see, basically, based on the levels of oxygen, how much life, how much biomass is available there. And this is where an anomaly happened, because in a specific part of the ocean floor, it has the size of India, so it's pretty huge. It's located on the left side of the US. I don't even know what ocean is there. In this region, they got a sample, and instead of the oxygen reducing over time, because imagine you get this slice of earth, it has some things that are alive inside, but the more you keep it, these things that are alive take the oxygen. So this part of the bottom of the floor that you're holding, at the end, whatever life it has, it will slowly die because they used all their oxygen. And based on how fast this happens, they can understand how much life was there. Okay? Very simple. This is the Hermes version. But when they did it in this place, instead of the oxygen going down, the oxygen was becoming more and more. So they had this sample that should be consuming the oxygen, the life form should be consuming the oxygen, and yet more oxygen was being created. And they were very baffled and they decided it's probably a mistake. So they actually discarded that finding. And only 8 years later, a second study using different measurements in the same region actually found the same surprising result, that at the bottom of the sea there, the oxygen is actually being produced out of nowhere. And this started this research, and apparently, what is happening down there, the bottom of the sea there has a lot of these black rocks. Okay, these black rocks are called polymetallic nodules. We can just call them, I don't know, metal nuggets. So there are these metal nuggets on the seafloor, and this is why the deep sea mining companies are very interested. They want to harvest all of these. And these metal nuggets are actually a combo of cobalt, manganese, nickel, some metals that are very, very precious and very useful for batteries and all sorts of electronics. And they're just sitting in the floor of the sea. So what it seems to be happening here, and again, this is groundbreaking. A lot of books will have to be rewritten about how life evolves on Earth, about how life can evolve in different environments, is that these metallic nodules were doing an electrolysis. They act like a geobattery. They have voltage. If you measure them, they have actual voltage. And by being down there in the water, somehow they're doing electrolysis, basically splitting the water from the oxygen. And they are producing oxygen in this way. They measured that the bigger the rock, the more the oxygen. And this has led to this geobattery hypothesis, which suggests that these metallic nodules are generating oxygen through electrolysis. Now, if this is confirmed, first of all, it should impact the deep sea mining practices. These companies want to go at the bottom of the sea and suck all of these metal nuggets from vast areas that are actually probably crucial for marine life. It's also reshaping our understanding of oxygen production and life in extreme environments. It could even have an astrobiology relevance. The results could influence how we search for signs of life on other planets, because they are complicating the interpretation of oxygen data. So this is super duper cool. It also pushes us to reevaluate how we understand energy interactions in ecosystems. And most likely, when it's proven how vital these are for marine life, deep sea mining could have dire ecological consequences. So this further pushes the need for more sustainable practices. Deep sea mining is something pretty scary, pretty unregulated. I think John Oliver has done a great show about it, if I'm not mistaken. But basically, there are companies that say, hey, this metal sits at the bottom of the sea. Let's just scrape it off and take it. And this is very dangerous. It was already dangerous before we realized that these rocks are actually probably bringing oxygen down there. Even before that, it was seen that deep sea mining damages the seafloor and the ecosystem in an irreversible way. So in the 80s, there were some deep sea mining activities, and even now in those areas, not only the biodiversity or animals have not returned, not even bacteria has grown back after deep sea mining in those areas. 40 years later, not even bacteria. And the thought was that the environment would quickly recover after deep sea mining. If you didn't know, now you know. There's this thing called dark oxygen, and apparently it's produced from these metallic rocks sitting 5 kilometers down at the bottom of the sea, doing some sort of electrolysis, and the bad corporate guys want to suck them all up, use them before we even come close to understand what they are, how they work, and what is the delicate balance of it all. And some last news and headlines. If you are in Berlin, then you should know that every first Sunday of the month, visits to all museums are free. So put that in your calendar. I was a bit too late on this month, but the 1st of September and that Sunday and every other first Sunday, the museums are free. There is an extreme heat warning for several regions in Germany. Temperatures of over 35 degrees are expected. At the same time, help for homeless is coming. A mobile shower unit has been introduced in Berlin to provide support, privacy, and hygiene to homeless women living on the streets. With creativity and compassion, it's a project aiming to assist homeless women in need, addressing some of the unique challenges they face while homeless in the city. And if you're looking to register yourself with the Bürgeramt, apparently there are so many, cancellations, delays, you need to book many weeks in advance. Now, they are thinking to make Wednesdays appointment free days. You just show up and wait forever, probably. But the Bürgeramts have been appointment only since 2012. But now Mayor Kai Wegner from the CDU is thinking to make them a mix of free for all and appointment. Sounds too good to be true? Probably. Lastly, this week seems like the economy is going to shit. The markets are going on a crash. Everyone is panicking. And the geopolitical tension around the world probably reached an all time high. Let's see how this week goes. And hopefully, we all keep swimming in this shitty river of life. Whew, what an ending. Thanks for staying so far. Thanks for staying here in the podcast. Thanks for listening. It's been one more week. I've been Hermes, and you have my blessing until next Sunday. Ciao.